Hi, everyone. Mike Allegre for Full Access Sports on the Bearcat Sports Network. This week is the final week of basketball for these two guys as well as the ladies. So I grabbed a couple seniors we haven't talked to. Avery Manu, Mr. Vasquez right here. Rich has been here 2 seasons. Avery's been here for 4. So we're going to start with the tenured guy over here. And as you think back on all the years you played basketball, Avery, you look at junior high, high school, certainly here at Willamette. Before we get to a lot of the good stuff, this is I would think it's kind of a hard week here because you're going to play in your last 2 games, and for the most part, unless you get drafted, you're done.
Yeah, it's definitely a bittersweet thing. This is something you've been doing since I was 8, 6 even. Wake up, you go to practice, and you go and play a game on the weekends. It's just routine. Mm-hmm. And that now that it's all coming to an end, it's kind of bittersweet. I'm excited to get started on actual life stuff and see where that takes me, but also I'm really just going to miss the memories that you make out here on the court.
And it's certainly, Rich, you've got to feel the same way. Now, Rich hasn't been here for 4 years, just 2, a transfer, and you're originally from Arizona, but you've made a place on the team, not as a starter, but as a reservist, and you come off with a flurry. Even in 2 years, I'd imagine you've got to look back and say, it's over after this weekend.
Yeah, you can totally sympathize with Avery. Just looking back as a kid, playing on the weekends, practicing during the week, and then that chapter in my life is, pretty much coming to an end, and just kind of looking forward to what life has in store for me pretty much.
And what's life have in store? I'm going to ask you both about your college careers, but you still have to graduate, and I'm assuming that's coming up in 2014. What are you studying? What is it that you maybe have for goals down in life after college?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to graduating this upcoming May. I'll be graduating with a degree in rhetoric and media, and just kind of, settling out my career down that route, and then going back home and just kind of starting off from there, square one, and then building my tenure, working my way up to the top from there.
And Avery, is same with you. You're graduating this year. When you think about what you're studying, what you're graduating in, what will it be, and what do you expect to be, 5 years from now or next year?
It's a tough question. It's a scary question. I'm graduating in film studies. Not sure if I really want to do anything with that yet or not, but
Pixar isn't calling.
Not really. But so I don't know yet. I have a few options I've been thinking about, but nothing's really sticking out yet, so we'll see.
The education at Willamette, much like playing basketball, Willamette brings you close as a family. And I know from just watching people since when Coach Ione was playing, these guys, even Coach Ione and his former players, they're pretty tight even 15 years later. I imagine it's going to be that way for you. And in even 2 years here, you've made a lot of friends and you've made an impact.
Yeah, Bearcat Hoop really has a tradition of building relationships within the program. And, Coach Ione has always emphasized that it's all about family. Everything we do is for each other. And so that's something I'm definitely going to carry on from here on out. And, looking back at Bearcat Hoop, that's pretty much, where everything's solidified for me in my life.
In the last 2 years, you've been here for kind of a metamorphosis, whereas how the players play, with no disrespect to the previous teams, but things that are a little bit different here. It's a little tighter. It's more for the team and not necessarily for a handful of players who may have a hot hand.
Yeah, I think, despite the results of the season, honestly, the cohesiveness from the team is unlike any other I've ever experienced before, and I think I wouldn't have enjoyed, being with any other team other than Bearcat Hoop to, share that sense of family, with each other.
And, Avery, last year, of course, you were out because of academics as well as you were injured. Off the entire season, you stayed with the family. You were closer with the practices, certainly at all the games. But you got to become a better player. And I'm just a fan looking back and say you're faster, you're stronger, you've got a lot of great moves. How did that year off, what did it teach you? How did you adapt?
That was a tough time in my life. When basketball gets taken away from you, when you've had it for your whole life, it just, it kind of hits hard. So just sitting there watching the guys, it just kind of made you a little sad that you couldn't go out and help them.
Motivational?
Well, motivational. I'd be there to try to motivate them on the side, and then. But for me, yeah, I wish I was out there, but it really made me focus on what I needed to get done. And so over the summer, I realized that I didn't want that to ever happen again, and that knowing going into my senior year is my last year, so worked out harder than I really ever have before. And when I came back here, I just definitely made sure that I focused in the classroom.
in the classroom and the focus on the physical aspect of the game. How has it changed you? Remember, Avery starts, you come off the bench, Ricks, and there's taking nothing away from any other reserve player, but when you come off the bench, just look at the stat sheet. You'll play 4, 5, 6 minutes. You'll have 2 to 4 points and 3 or 4 rebounds and an assist, and you're just a money man out there. You know your role. You just kind of went into it.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of accepting your role, and that goes for each and every one of us. Coming off the bench, my main goal is to provide my team as much energy as possible and just kind of provide that extra spark that we need to, get us over the edge. And I hope that's what I've done this past season.
You fit in so well. It's hard to believe you've only been here 2 years. It's been a quick 2 years too.
Time really has flown, but I've enjoyed my time every single second of it.
And of course, being away from family in Arizona, that's a pretty good thing, even though you miss your family.
Yeah, it's definitely tough not to actually look up in the stands and see my family, but I know, through text messages and phone calls, everybody's always keeping in touch, letting me know that they're, out there watching our games on the computer screen, and, I know they're cheering for me, and I know they're here in spirit, so I'm really thankful for you guys that are out there watching us. Thank you.
And Avery, as far as you getting ready to wrap it up, I know you both are thinking about what comes next after this week, other than watching the playoffs. What has Bearcat Hoop done for you? And when you look back, and when you maybe will look back 5 or 10 years from now?
It's built me a new family, for sure. I've made so many relationships here, and I'm thankful for every one of them. That's one of Kip's main goals, is to mold a family, make men and create a family, and so that's
wins and losses. Yeah, we'd love to have more wins, but you'll always have family.
Yeah, 10 years down the road, we really won't remember our record, but we'll definitely remember all the people we met, all the memories we had on the court together, in the locker room, behind the scenes, just all the laughter we had together, and just the good moments we've made.
Well, Rich, can you add anything to that other than perhaps what Avery said?
Avery couldn't have said it any better. Honestly, it's all about family at the end of the day. 10 years from now, we're not going to remember our record, but we're going to remember the memories, the laughter, and just that feeling of competitiveness amongst each other 10 years down the road. And just looking down, it's just something I look forward to looking back. And I met a bunch of great group of guys. We're looking forward to, spending more time with them later down the road.
Well, I'll miss you guys because I want to have a good chance to call your names again. But, it is kind of a little bit of a family, and even us broadcasters get in on the edge of that. So best of luck to you, Rich, also to you, Avery, and we're glad these two seniors going out are going to go out with a bang, hopefully on a good note as well. And for these two fellas, I'm Mike Allegre. Thanks for joining us, everybody, here on FullAccessSports.com on the Bearcat Sports Network.